Good afternoon, my name's Moskovic and I'm a member of the Chabad Groner congregation. Mendy has asked me to provide you with a little bit of an insight of volunteering and where I volunteer at. So a little bit of background. Since end of April, I've been volunteering at Ccare. Ccare, the C stands for community care, and in a nutshell, Ccare provide a service of cooked meals to people that are underprivileged or disadvantaged in the community. With COVID and the isolation, the situation became quite apparent that there were more need for these types of services within not only our community, but across the board, all the population. A little bit of a background of Ccare. Ccare started by a Rabbi Shlomo Nathanson in March 2011. And how he came across and how this idea started was that he came across a community that were very isolated and lonely, and he took a visit and a conversation to cheer people up, and they felt that that was an easy task in that respect. How is Ccare different to any other mainstream food charities? All right, so our mission is first connecting with people, giving them a sense of worth and personal care. Once this is established, we look to see what food security services will best suit them. Ccare may have around 1,000 volunteers on the books. We have different shifts, staff coming in, volunteers coming into the hub and taking on different roles. Initially, for the last 9 to 10, nearly 10 years, all the cooking was held at Yeshiva in their commercial kitchen. And in December 2019, Ccare had moved into their own premises. We took over a premises of Port Phillip Meals on Wheels, a commercial kitchen, and we operate out of there. Some milestones for the last quarter: 1,980 Shabbat packs were prepared. 4,800 individual chalot were baked. 4,272 hot meals were cooked and delivered. Some of the programs that Ccare are involved in are food, cooked meals, on a weekly basis. Then we provide our recipients with a list of 30 dry staple items similar to rice, salt, sugar, toilet paper, toothpaste, and etc. And we provide free at no cost 15 of these items on a monthly basis. They will receive a box, a pantry box we call it, with these items that they've nominated. We have bat mitzvah activities, we have bar mitzvah activities, we have a social outreach program. For the last few weeks, every Thursday, we set up a stall outside the Commission housing homes where recipients can come down to collect their Shabbat packs. Additionally, we aim to offer avenues through which our recipients can feel more connected and fulfilled through initiatives such as Shabbat sing-alongs, music, meditation, exercise classes, becoming pen pals, online skill sharing, Jewish movie nights, podcasts, music, and more. Ccare has been working very closely with the community organisations and local councils to expand our food relief and social services. Through working with other organisations, we've been able to reach Jewish individuals who are in need of some extra assistance, both short and long term, as well as Jewish families in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. This week alone, we've been referred to and welcomed into our Ccare community. One new family, 5 new individuals, and 1 new couple. We are also working very closely with other local faith-based community organisations who are distributing excess items to individuals in need. Every dollar donated, every minute of time that a recipient is referred to, every like, every share, every tag, every mention of Ccare to your friends and social network, every smile to another makes an incredible positive impact on the lives of others. And not just our recipients who are in need, but an impact on the valuable sense of community we have as a volunteering family. Ccare has been applauded by a number of government officials and agencies for the crucial work being carried out by our army of volunteers over this crisis, and we are committed to continuing this vital work. Thank you for enabling this to happen. This week at the Hub, we kicked off our cooking of $5 meals and have already had some great feedback. The fresh meals and the yummy cake and soup add-ons are designed to not only be a budget-friendly option, but also to take a stressful task out of the equation by ensuring you and your loved ones are eating nutritious meals. In addition to our weekly fresh meal option, we'll also be offering a rolling frozen meal that can be picked up at any day of the week. And if you can't decide, try our lucky dip. Over the past few months, we've all been working our way through something that nobody could have foreseen, and we have found ourselves in different situations. Is there someone you know who could use a little bit of extra support? Perhaps someone who needs to isolate for their safety and is not able to easily access healthy, balanced and nutritious meals. Perhaps someone who has lost their job to the pandemic and may be feeling worried or unstable financially. Whether they are single, a couple or a family, young, old or middle-aged, there is no shame in putting your hand up. Our recipients come from all walks of life, from all backgrounds and are going through a variety of challenging life circumstances. We're here to help both short-term and long-term, and you can expect everyone to be treated with respect, care, dignity, and the utmost confidentiality. A big thank you to everyone who has referred people to Ccare recently. We have received referrals from our community partners, medical professionals working within the community, our volunteers, shuls and schools. You all are helping us to reach out to those in need of someone to lean on and ensure they are connected to the relevant services. I have to say that we have very, very good and very generous beneficiaries and suppliers within the community that have opened their arms and are very, very generous. I am very and extremely happy that I have found Ccare. I found a role that I enjoy doing, like-minded people that we get on with. Everyone has a common goal, and we are one big family. So if you have time, please don't hesitate. And if you are in any need at all, please don't hesitate to contact someone at Ccare. On this opportunity, I'd like to wish everyone in the congregation and their extended families a good Yontif, a good, healthy year. Amen to everybody. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Chanie. For those of you who don't know me, I am Rabbi Mendy and Rebbetzin Esther Malka's daughter, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Are You OK Day, which is coming up this week. Thursday, September 10th is Are You OK Day, which is a day that's been going on for a couple of years, and it is a day that we're reminded to check in on the people around us who might be struggling with life's ups and downs. This is a topic that's really close to my heart because I have battled with anxiety since I was a teenager, and I know how valuable and very, very necessary a strong support system is for someone experiencing mental health issues, but also because I have watched a very close friend of mine struggle with multiple episodes of depression and particularly suicidal ideation, and was in a position to be able to support her through this experience. And a lot of what I'm saying might seem really obvious, and most of you probably know it, but it's always good to hear it and have a bit of a refresher. So the question, are you okay, is obviously a very important one because it can make someone struggling with mental illness feel less alone. It shows that you care. It can be the catalyst for someone to take the first step in getting help. And it's also a very real way that you can alleviate some of the feeling of loneliness that is a trademark of mental illness, and show someone that there are people out there that care enough to listen. Asking, are you okay, is a very important first step, but it can't stop there. There is so much more that you can do. And through my own experience of supporting someone through episodes of depression and suicidal ideation, I learned a lot about what it means to truly be there for someone beyond asking them, are you okay? This is a multifaceted topic which could be talked about for hours, and everyone has a very different experience, but I just wanted to share some of the insight that I gained. Asking someone, are you okay, starts with asking them, are you okay? Which can be done in many different forms, like, you don't see yourself lately, do you want to talk about it? You've been on my mind, just checking in to see how you're doing. How are you coping with lockdown? Nothing too complicated. Keep it open-ended and provide the person with an invitation to speak. And the next step, now that you've done the are you okay part, is to listen, and to listen without judgment. It might seem very obvious, but people struggling with mental illness, I can say this for myself and for other people that I've spoken to, there is often a very real fear of sounding stupid or dramatic when sharing what you're thinking and feeling, or for someone to respond, look how many amazing things you have in your life. So many people have it way worse, or cheer up. These kind of responses are extremely isolating and will likely make a person shut down even more or hide their true thoughts from you and never share with you again. So listen and validate what the person is telling you. You could reassure them by saying things like, I know it doesn't feel this way now, but it will get better, which is very hard to see when you're in it, in an episode of depression or anxiety. So hearing it from an outsider can be very grounding and very helpful. And you can encourage them to seek help. You could offer to help them find a mental health professional if you feel equipped to do so, or to come with them to an appointment, or suggest that they see a GP, which is always a very important starting point. If you're concerned that the person you're checking in on is suicidal, ask them, are you suicidal? Talking to someone who is possibly suicidal and asking them, are you suicidal, is super scary. Full stop. There's no way around it. But so is doing CPR or driving someone who's having a stroke to the hospital. These are very, very scary things to do, but for someone that we love and care about, we would do them. And it's the same thing when asking someone, are you suicidal? Also, there's actually no danger in asking someone straight up, are you suicidal, or have you had any thoughts of harming yourself or killing yourself? And if they say yes, asking them, have you made a plan to carry this out? What is that plan? Petrifying questions. I've had to ask them, and they never get less scary. They are so scary, and you're always scared to hear what the answer is going to be, but it's still extremely important. People often think that asking these very direct questions will put ideas of suicide into a person's head, but it's actually been shown that asking these questions can reduce the chances of the person harming themselves, and it often provides them a relief to say these very scary things out loud. Making sure that the person is physically safe. If they do say that they are suicidal, making sure they're not left alone. I've called family members of my friend who were living with her to make sure that they knew that she was suicidal, even though she didn't want them to know. It was very important that they knew that she couldn't be left alone and that she couldn't have access to any knives or medications that was in the house. And asking the person these very direct questions can also help you ascertain how urgent it is. You might need to call an ambulance if you think the person is in immediate danger. And another really helpful resource is calling a suicide hotline. This is not just for people who are suicidal, but if you are not sure what steps to take for someone that you suspect is suicidal or for someone who's told you they're suicidal, a suicide hotline can guide you step by step through what to do next. And that's a really helpful resource as well. The next step after that, which I think is the most important step, is following up, which basically means that you haven't just asked the person, are you okay, and then just moved on with your life. You're sticking with them. You don't have to fix their problems. Don't try to fix their problems unless you're a mental health professional. It's not your job to fix their problems or find solutions. But saying something, and I found this on the receiving end of this, and being the one to say these kind of responses has been very, very helpful. Saying something like, this really sucks. This just sucks. There's no way around it. It sucks. What you're going through sucks. And I hate that you have to go through this. I hate seeing you in this position. Those kind of responses, instead of saying, oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? I had a friend who did this. I had a friend who did that. I know someone who went through this, which also can be helpful if you're giving someone actual resources. But trying always to fix their problems is not always as helpful. And just acknowledging what they're telling you can be very validating and helpful and make someone feel very heard and supported. I also reached out to my friend to ask her, from her perspective, being on the receiving end of all of this, what the importance of asking, are you okay, is. And I'm just going to read what she told me because this is her story. She said, asking someone, are you okay, is very validating. When you're in a depressive state, it can be hard to see how bad things really are. You won't even know to ask for help. Oftentimes, other people notice the changes in you more than you notice yourself. Them reaching out can make you aware that you need help. Looking back at this time, I was craving for other people to tell me I was going to be okay, even though I didn't believe it at the time. When you would constantly check in with me, it showed me that my emotions were real. And even though I had never experienced them before, there was real help out there and I wasn't alone. It was very validating and made me feel a little more sane. It can be scary to reach out because people don't know what to say, but in reality, there's actually nothing you need to say. Just checking in with someone makes a huge difference. As long as you're coming with a warm and understanding approach, it's unlikely that there is something that you will say that will make the person feel worse than they already feel. Asking someone, are you okay, is fantastic, but it is equally important to follow up with them and stick with them. You don't need to be the psychologist or fix their problems, but following up and continuously showing your support helps them develop trust and the ability to get back on their feet long term. It is important though that if you're going to ask someone, are you okay, you should make sure you really mean it. Saying empty things like, are you okay, and then never asking again, or saying, I'm always here for you, without actually meaning it or showing it in any way, can be really damaging to a person's trust especially when they are already very vulnerable and often feel like a burden to others. These are words directly from my friend. So in conclusion, for myself, what I have learned and what I've seen firsthand is that something as simple as asking, are you okay, can literally save a person's life. And what better thing in the world is there than saving someone's life?
What do you do if you ask someone, are you okay, and they say no? Any ideas? Anything? There's more to say after Are You Okay? Learn how to keep the conversation going at areyouok.org.au.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. I'm missing seeing everyone at shul and hope life will be back to some kind of normal soon. This week's Parsha is special to me as it is the Bar Mitzvah Parsha of our eldest child, Ariel. 5 years ago, he became an adult according to Judaism, and now 5 years later, he has just celebrated the next big milestone in his life, turning 18 and becoming an adult in the secular world. In the opening words of this week's Parsha, Moshe says to Bnei Yisrael, Atem Nitzavim hayom kolchem lifnei Hashem Elokeichem. You are all standing this day before the Lord your God. There are two things I want to talk about. First, the Torah uses the word Nitzavim and not Omdim, a more common everyday word for standing. While both Omdim and Nitzavim mean standing, there is a big difference between them. One can be Omed, standing, but about to fall or wavering to all sides. Nitzavim means standing firm forever. Omdim are spectators who stand by and watch an event. Nitzavim are the participants who play a main role in the event. It is not enough to be Omdim spectators, we must be Nitzavim, active participants. Who would have thought that when Mendy spoke at Ariel's bar mitzvah 5 years ago about standing strong, we would a short time later be living through such a crazy time, and that these words would take on a whole new meaning. We, especially in Victoria, have had to stand strong mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually through really hard times. The second point I want to make is Atem, you, is written in plural. You, plural, are standing this day before the Lord your God. The whole message we've been hearing all year of COVID-19 is that we are all in this together. But this is nothing new. The Torah taught long ago that we are stronger when we all stand together. So let's keep standing strong, and together we will all get through this. Wishing you and your families Shana Tova U'Metuka. Hope to see you all soon.
The upcoming yard sites for the coming week, Ian Katz for your maternal grandmother and Teresa Gani for your father. Wish you all long life. The upcoming Jewish birthdays, Harriet Bafsky, Monique Bendel, Peter Bloom, Shaya Chaskell, Angela Davidov, Sharon Etzion, Gabe Lewin, Asher Gordon, Jeremy Kestenberg, Josh Pincus, Fabian Robinson, Zach Robinson, and Ariel Zaks. We wish you all a very happy Jewish birthday. Also wish to advise you that this Sunday night we're having a special interactive discussion, myself and Esther Malka, on how to Jew it at home over the high holidays. So this Sunday night at 8 p.m., please join us on Zoom. Moses, before his death, he gathers all the Jews from the heads of the tribes to the water carriers, and he brings them into a covenant again with God. This is the opening words of this week's Parsha. Atem Nitzavim hayom. You are all standing today before God to enter into the covenant again with God. Now it says in these sentences 3 times the words hayom, today. You are entering today in order to establish today. It would be equally understood even if it wouldn't have the word today. But there's a very powerful lesson in the word today. A lot of times people, when it comes to something which is forbidden to do, and they are tempted to do it, and they find themselves in a situation that it's going to be very difficult for them to deprive themselves indefinitely from this temptation. He says, look, sooner or later, I'm going to succumb to this temptation. So why deprive myself now? I'll surrender now. That's why Moses says today. Just look at today. Don't consider tomorrow's temptation. If you can resist your temptation today, think about today. And tomorrow will be another day. Similarly, a lot of times people bring up their past and they say, oh, you're going to be a tzaddik all of a sudden? Yesterday, you ate at McDonald's. Yesterday, you lied. Today, you're going to do a mitzvah? You're unworthy. It's not going to make any difference anyway. Look at your past. Again, you have to remember, it's all about today. It's not about yesterday. It's not about the past. It's not about the future. Whatever you can resist today, or whatever you can do positive today, That's what's important. Make the best of today. This is also a very important lesson for us during COVID. We think about the future, when is this going to end, and it could depress us. Let us think about today, one day at a time. Let us make the best of what we can from today. Have a wonderful Shabbat.